Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.
Om Bhadram Karnebhih Shrunuyama Deva Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryajatraha Sthirairangayestustavagam sastanobhih Vyasema Deva Itayadayuh Swasti na Indra Vruddhashravah Swasti na Pusha Vishwavedah Swasti nastaksho arishtanemi Swasti na Brahaspatir Dadatu Om Shanti 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 Om Agne Naya Supataraye Asman Vishwani Deva Vayunani Vidvan Yuyodhyasmat Juhurana Meno Vo Istam Te Nama Uktim Videma Om Shanti 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 Om Abrahman Brahmana Brahma Varchasi Jayatam Arashtre Rajanya Shuraisha Bhyati Vyadhi Maharato Jayatam Dogdrim Dhenur Voda Nadvan Asusapti Purandiryosha Jishno Rateshta Sabhe Yo Yuva Asya Yajamanasya Viro Jayatam Nikame Nikame na Padjanyo na Varshatu Palavatyo na Voshadaya Pachantam Yoga Kshemo na Kalpetam Om Shanti 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 Om Apyayantu Mamangani Vakprana Chakshuho Stotramata Balamindriyani Cha Sarvani Sarva Brahma Upanishadam Maham Brahma Nirakuryam Mama Brahma Nirakaroto Anirakaranam astu anirakaranam me astu Tadhatmani nirateya upanisatsu dharmaha Te mayi santo Om Shanti 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 Om Purnamada Purnamidham Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Namaste.
Thank you. So today we are in the Upanishad session in our series of knowing the use of Upanishads, the benefit of the Upanishads, and what kind of search we have got in the Upanishads, and what are the results that we are going to get out of it, which are very much useful for our journey of life. And our journey of life is also stipulated, limited, but still we have to make hay and get maximum out of it. So as we understand, every Upanishad is a search. Every Upanishad is a searchlight. Every Upanishad is a mentor, because we have, for our fortune, a great number of Upanishads, and some are belonging to the respective Vedas and some are created. But all the Upanishads are being taught by the different munis, rishis, and the whatever wisdom that you have been given in the Vedic Samhitas and Vedas, that has been picked up and given to us in a very pointful way, so that we don't much depend to go to the Vedas. And even if you go to Veda mantras, it is hard for us to know what we should know, because the Ananta Vai Vedaha is one definition. Another thing is Veda Prakasha, the trying to understand, interpret, and all that is very hard, because every aksharam is simply great. Yavanti Veda Aksharani. So how many are the Veda Aksharas? So many are the gods. So many are things. So in that pursuit of the vastness, we have seen Svetasvatara Maharshi, we have seen Yagnavalkya Maharshi, we have seen so many rishis, Kathopanishad, Isavasya Upanishad, and Svetasvatara Upanishad, and so on. But we are almost coming to the end of this Aitareya Upanishad, the last chapter. But actually, Aitareya Maharshi has not taken much time of us. whatever he wanted to examine and tell us the truths and origins of our life, and what is the ultimate goal and how we should try to catch them up, etc., has been told or described by our Rishi. As to 33 formulas are there, divided into 3 chapters, and therein also some khandas, sections. So that's how the planning, there are arrangement of the Aitareya Upanishad. And we have noted in this Aitareya Maharshi telling us the man is the first person to conceive. And, and drum man, Purushehava ayamadito garbho bhavati. So the garbha begins from the Purusha. Before any garbha or any poetess reaches the Purusha, they are all hanging in the nature or anywhere, we don't know where are these. But ultimately, depending upon so many things, a garbha is just enters into man, and from man to woman and woman to that. And the woman feels the child born. I mean, in the beginning, she's little reluctant to contain, but becomes afterwards, as the Maharshi tells, afterwards it becomes a part of the body of the woman who bears it in her womb, second, and also she never feels that some foreign body is staying in her, because it is always, our body is very sensitive. And whenever foreign body is introduced into us, we have to be more careful and all that. But in this case, it is different. The mother, the woman, feels so happy as the pregnancy advances, although minor disturbances may be there, but she will bear it because she is going to see a child. She is going to be a mother. And that is the happiness. And for any woman, highest happiness is the child, though, and she is connected to that. That's why Bhavabhuti says, Ananda Granthi Rokoyam Apachyamiti Kachyate. Ananda Granthi. He uses the word Ananda Granthi. There are so many other Granthis, are the glands. But that gland which will produce Ananda is the only this Apatyam, the child. Nobody will ask you what is your salary. Nobody will ask you how many houses you have built. Supposing if anybody asks, you get irritated, you get annoyed. But if anybody asks how many children you have got, what are they doing? So whenever you inquire about the children, automatically the parents become so happy, they describe them. That's the sentimental value which has been placed by Paramatma in us. So, and then when the being is born, then what is that happens? Satam, see, the Vamadeva Maharshi comes to say that the whatever stipulated period of life is there upon the earth, the being will continue to live. Say it is said to be 100 years. Satam, and I am just in the 104 page of the Aitareya Upanishad in the Sarva Veda Mantraha Ramakrishna publications, Ramakrishna Math's publications. And there, afterwards, what does the person become? So he becomes a bird. Syeno bhavati. So he will fly off from this earth. Like in a bird flies off from the earth, even the jiva will fly off. Sarira is no more ownership, because one has to leave the sarira. And the moment the sarira, the soul or self leaves, it has no connection with the body. That's what this morning I realized. So somebody was telling, oh, I am now getting the time to get my body burnt. And as my body is being burnt and all that, I will be able to communicate with my experience. So now I'm just leaving the bodies. And when the body was put in fire, no language, no communication, but only the Atma experiences. What experience it is? No. And it will be flying off. No more connections with the earth. Bhu prapancham given up. Then supposing it is punya and papa, the sukrutam, dushkrutam, subham, asubham, that would go before us, not behind us also. So it will go and settle down and give you guidance. And so sukrute, dushkrute, krutam, papam, punyam will be your leaders. Or they will be also the backup, depends upon the. So he will go to heaven or any other place. But sometimes this Maharshi tells us that no guarantee that self or soul which leaves the body, which departs from the body, will reach its goal at all. See, it will get a phone call that you should be born again. And so you will be reverted to earth once again. Then we don't know the yoni. That in the third chapter and in the last section, Aitareya Maharshi gives us what could be the yoni, what could be the source through which we are all brought into the world. That we'll see next. So before that, we want to say that, so we are flying off, and Sarira Beda, you cannot have that Beda. See, when we have Sarira, healthy body is there, everything is very beautiful, attractive, and we want to enjoy it and keep it constant with us. But we are not constant. The pleasures are not constant. You may build a wonderful house, but hardly you stay in the house. You have to be out. You have to go out. So that way, it is said that the Sarira Beda happens, and he has to go upwards, Utkramya. Where does he go? Normally, you are going to Swargaloka. That's what Swargaloka is not fixed at all. Whatever is better than earth is called Swarga, where Swa and Ga both are there. So you will be able to enjoy whatever good that could be, whatever comfort which we can afford, but that is not permanent. Even Swargaloka is not permanent. That's what our Bhagavatam Bhadavyasa tells. Swarginopi nirayanastada phulokam agantum ichanti. Even those people who are dwelling in the heaven, they get vexed or tired of the luxury and all that there. They want to come to Bhuloka and they want to have that Bhuloka experience. That's why all gods will be waiting for invitations through prarthanas or through homa or through japa, etc. So when the gods are invited, they all come and they become really stronger. And actually, nobody having been born, when he dies, will go to Amrutatvam. That's also our Rishi is telling that Amrutatvam is not directly landing place for anybody who leaves the earth. So whoever flies from earth will not land in moksham. In between, there is Swargaloka or Narakaloka or other lokas are there. And whatever loka you are benefited to, I mean, you have to go through, there you have to go. That's a bottleneck. No, nothing comes out other than the bottleneck from the bottle. So the bottleneck to all people is intermediary lokas. And how many intermediary lokas are there? Nam Gottilla, we don't know. So many intermediary. But still, we always believe, Amrutatvam, Amruta Bhavati, all this. That's why Swarge Loke Sarvan Kaman Aptva Amrutaha Samabhavatu. Amrutaha Samabhavatu is the last sentence of the second chapter. And it says Amrutaha Abhavatu. Samabhavatu. That too, not simply Abhavatu. Samabhavatu is the Sanskrit verb. Sanskrit language is very powerful language, precise language. And when once it is said in Sanskrit verbs, you are sure about them. No doubt about it. So here, Abhavatu is different from the force of the verb as Samabhavatu. So samyak abhavatu samabhavatu. That means settle down. So to settle down in Amritaloka, then once you settle down in Amritaloka, ordinarily you are not back home to a Bhulokam. Bhulokam is only a temporary post, rather a gap to stay. So that impression is being given to us in the last section. And now, as I told in my notification, that there is a question of the Atma. So, ko yamatma iti vayamapasmahe. Okay, Babu, all about Atma, all about body is done. Now let us know what is that Atma we want to get into investigation. And what is that Atma? What are the functions of the Atma staying inside us? He says, Yena Atmana pasyati srunoti gandhana jigrati vacham vyakaroti swaducha swadu vijanati. So it is all the self that is able to give you all these sensory things. That is to hear, to look, to be able to see, to be able to hear, to be able to scent the fragrances or otherwise, and be able to speak, and also tongue with which you are able to say good or bad, swadu, aswadu, and all that. And again, apart from that, we have some more equipment inside us. What are that equipment, extra equipment given to us other than those mentioned? One is Hridayam, Manaha, Sangnanam, Agnanam, Vignanam, Pragnanam, Medha, Drishtihi, Dhrutihi, Matihi, Manisha, Jyutihi, Smrutihi, Sankalpaha, Kratuhu, Asuhu, Kamaha, Vasha. You look at this wonderful listing, and they are all the important ingredients in our body. One body idರಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಡಿಸ್ಟರ್ಬ್ ಆದರೂ we have to be very sad about it. ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸು, ರೈಮ್ ಅಂಡ್ ರಿದಮ್ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ then we are, for example, ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷಲ್ಲಿ so this is sentience, secular knowledge, rulership, presence of mind, retentiveness, and sense perception, fortitude, thinking, genius, and mental suffering, memory, ascertainment, resolution, life activities, hankering after fashion, and all this. And all these things are there extra endowed in us. And so, Samyana, Adrinda Sarvenyetani Pragnanasya Namadheyani. So, Kim Pragnanam? Pragnanam ante enti, Gnanam ante enti. So, that's why in Ajurveda we come across these terms: Gnanam, Pragnanam, Vignanam, etc. Ivala. So, illi you see that Pragnanasya Navadeyani. What is Pragnanam? So, Pragnanam Brahma, Pragnana Ghanam Brahma. It is said the Pragnana Ghana is Brahma. And so, they are all the names. This Paramatma in us is being talked about with all these things. And that is to say, all these things are windows in our body, and those windows are created by Paramatma, and therefore through whatever window through you are able to get knowledge, it is all Paramatma Jnana. That's what he says. And Namadheyani, they are all the names of Pragnanam. And not only that Pragnana is that, but we have got also some specific names. ಶಿವಲಿಂಗವರ ಹೇಳಿ ಏಷ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ಏಷ ಇಂದ್ರ ಏಷ ಪ್ರಜಾಪತಿ ಏತೇ ಸರ್ವೇ ದೇವಾಃ ಇಮಾನಿ ಚ ಪಂಚಮಹಾಭೂತಾನಿ ಪೃಥಿವೀ ವಾಯುರಾಕಾಶ ಆಪೋ ಜ್ಯೋತಿಂಷಿ. ಹೇಳಿ ಬಾಬು.
ಓಂ Yesha Brahma Yesha Indra Yesha Prajapatirete Sarve Deva Imani Cha Pancha Mahabhutani Prithvi Vayurakasha Apo Jyotim Shityeta Tani Mani Cha Kshudramisha.
So we stop here and we just try to understand. See, when this consciousness or the ability to be able to recognize and see through things available outside your body, that is, as we see that, and all that, see, you have got to see. What do you see? Druk Drusyavu, Drupadarthau, Tarkashastram tells you, in the world, there are only two things, Druk and Drusyavu. Drusya is the scenery, Druk is the eye or vision. So like that, there is always Dvandva in the world, two. So the Dvandvatitaha Nirmatsaraha is different one. So when the moment we take the body, we have always two things. Therefore, here, Srunoti, Gandhanagrati, Vyakaroti, and that's one set. And another set is, we have got Hrudayam, Manasu, Sangnanam, Agnanam. That is to say, the heart is there. That's why you say heartfelt greetings. Simply greetings, Andre, probably you're not happy. Deep. So when you say heartfelt, means there is nothing deeper than that. Highest, highly deep one. Therefore, Hridayam, Manaha, then the mind. And Sangnanam. Sangnanam is Samyak Gnanam, to be able to recognize the consciousness appropriately. Samyak Gnanam, Sangnanam, Sutaram Gnanam, Sugnanam, or that is also Sangnanam. And again, Agnanam also important. Agnanam is thoroughly knowing, not leaving anything unknown. So that is a kind of wholesale knowledge. So about a thing, you should have a complete knowledge about it, and then only you are really better. That's why we are all skilled or experts and all that, because of Agnanam. You are able to see the real difficulty or positivity. For example, Agnanam is a senior old engineer. He was also traveling in a ship. Suddenly, at the middle of the ocean, the engine of the machine, I mean the boat, a steamer, could not stop and could not start. And all marine engineers there, they went on trying to, technicians tried to start, but no, they could not find the fault. But there was a senior engineer, old man, and they knew that he is also one like that, and people were not ready to ask, hey, what this old man can do it. He can't, he has no strength in him to turn the screw and all that thing. So, but still one of them said, oh, let us give a try. So that old gentleman went and found out a particular screw and took a small hammer and then hit it in such an angle that the engine started. And it was said he afterwards he gave a bill of some 30,000 rupees for that kind of attention given. And they were all wondering. He said, how 30,000 rupees for this kind of thing? Then he explained, my labor is $20 or 20 rupees, and the remaining is the technique that I was able to detect the screw which I have got to beat. You are all good failures. So I think that is the example that we can give for Agnanam. That means a total thorough knowledge of the things. And Vijnanam and Pragnanam. So Viseshena Gnanam, Vijnanam, and Pragnanam, Praseshena Gnanam. See, Prasesha, Visesha. These two prefixes or qualifying adjective will make the Gnanam really described what kind of Gnanam we want, what kind of knowledge you want. So that knowledge has got these divisions, Sangnana, Agnanam, Vijnana, and Pragnanam. And all these four kinds of Gnanam is consciousness or Paramatma or the highest self which which reside in our body, but we are not able to recognize the importance of the self that we have got, because the outer attractions are so that we are not able to spend time to go inside. That's why when you take to yoga, what the yoga masters say, go inside, within, because without only we are missing and all that. So within you should go. Antarmukha samaradhya bahirmukha sudarlabha. That's what Lalita compliment. And Dhaharaka, so she is Antarmukha samaradhya. So you are able to unearth the more and more secrets of the Parameswari as you get into inside you, because she is seated in you. Parameswari is there inside, giving all activity and energy to that we are going to see next. Therefore, here, the Sangnanam, Ajnanam, Vignanam, Pragnanam, we have got Jayanti here. She knows too deep in the Vedanta. These concepts, what is this? They discriminate, they give examples for all these things. Make it ultimately, they're all out from the Paramatma or the self, and with that kind of self is common with all people, but the power of recognition and practice, etc., only varies from people to people. And why that varies? Because the attractions outside are very tempting, and therefore, and pragnanam, this word. Then we have got the word medha, drishti, dhruti, mati. Medha is intelligence, drishti is dhruti is dhairyam, mati is the opinion or the judgment, etc., that you take it. Manisha is the wisdom. Manisha is the wisdom. And also you have the another thing is Jyutihi, Jyutihi Smritihi. So Smriti is the retention power, and Jyuti is the presence of mind. For that presence of mind, Hanuman is the best example that we can imagine. You know what kind of circumstances that Hanuman in Sundarakanda or elsewhere he faces, but all through the time he is ready for work. Another grand example we imagine, why do we read Ramayana? We read Ramayana not because of punyam. We don't know how much punyam we get by reading Ramayana or Sundarakanda or any kanda of that. Apart from that, you yourself get solution. You say yourself get some kind of feeling that you will see the life to be full of sap, substance, and prosperity and growth and goals. See, when the entire in the Yuddham, all Vanaras were down in the fight, and all were after evening, and Jambavan goes with searchlight to find where Hanuman is injured and falling in the entire battleground. But ultimately, he was able to look to Hanuman, Jambavan, and told Hanuman, if you alone were to be living, all the honoras will be helped. So you go, you bring Mulika, Sanjaya, and bring and see that the very fragrance of that Mulika or the herb, all Vanaras will be back next morning when the Ramana again comes with another band of battalion of Rakshasas to fight. So Hanuman, although so much injured and almost mourning, but immediately when Jambavan comes, he gets up and brings up all the courage, although pains are there, and he brought and saw that all Vanaras get back to life. So that is what I think is what is called as that Manisha and Jyuti, Smriti. Smriti and Sankalpa. You know, we always make Sankalpa whenever we do any puja, because Sankalpa is important. Sankalpa is something that is not at all one which should drop down in the middle. Dharmartha kama moksha siddhyartham is Sankalpa. Chaturvidha pala purusharth, Chaturvidha purusharth, pala purusharth siddhyartham, and samasta sanmangalavaptyartham. These are all coming under Sankalpa. That means all through the time that is allotted to you, you are working to get that desire completely sanctioned by the Paramatma. And kratu asuhu kamaha vasha. See, asu is the life activity. Pranam, the life activity is the asu. I told the other day that asupatri, you see, talk about hospital or asupatri. Asu is the place, or is the pranams, when it, and pa is to protect or treatment, diagnosis, treatment, and make things. And three is the location, the building where this kind of activity is going on. Therefore, the asu is also important, and kamaha, and all said and done, vashaha iti, kama vasha, you must be able to love kamam one way. Without desire, nobody can live. But there is also the desire to be under your control, not you be under the control of your desire. If desires control us, we are not happy because we will not be safe. But if you control the desires and accordingly you behave, then you are on the road. So, etani prajnanasya namadheyani bhavanti. So, that Aitareya Maharshi has given a small list of about some 14 and something like that. And these are all the characterizations of or names of the prajnanam. We have noted already that prajnana ghanam brahma. You see, prajnana also escapes, becomes loose, vibrant. But what we want is, ghanam means solidified, solid knowledge, solid thinking. So we use the word solid in English. Therefore, prajnanasya namadheyani bhavanti. Not only the equipment provided in the man is that Paramatma or Prajnanam, even the other gods whom we are talking about, and nature, the elements of nature, everything is Paramatma. That's what our Sivalingaya wrote. Yeshaha Brahma, Yeshaha Indraha, Yeshaha Prajapatihi, and Yete Sarve Devaha. So whatever number of gods are there, beginning from Brahma, Indra, Prajapati, Agni, Vayu, Surya, Chandra, Nakshatra, etc., all gods. And actually in Satapada Brahmanam, there is a question asked, how many gods are there? How many hairs are there on our human body? But nobody can give the exact count of number of gods, like giving there are Dwadasa Adityaha, Ekadasa Rudraha, Ashtavasavaha, Navadurgaha. No, this kind of determined number cannot be given in general to the exact number of gods. They're all stars. Therefore, ultimately, he says, Sarve Devaha. And we have got also in our Vedic mythology, three divisions of the group deities. Sarve Devaha, Vishve Devaha, Devaha. They're all group deities. So when you say Sarve Devaha, means in that Sarve Devaha, any and every deity mentioned or not mentioned comes under the group. So in a group, we can't take the names of the individual names. We simply say Devanam Sangaha or Manushyanam Samuha or Sangha or Samajaha, etc. So then he comes to next item is Panchamahabhutani, the 5 elements of Prithvi, Tejo, Vayu, Akasha. Is given that first of all, Bhuta is existent. They are constant. And we have got a portion of the Panchabhutas in our body, in everybody. And any prakopa of the Panchabhutas inside our body, the body ails. The ailment in the body is because of the prakopa of any of the elements that is there. And Ayurveda people talk about Vata, Pitta, Shleshma, Arka, Pitta, and then they have only about 67 divisions of diseases, kinds of diseases. And Ayurveda is very much concise and precise, unlike allopathy. Sometimes allopathy people say if they are not able to appropriately identify and what is the kind, then they say it's virus. But virus is something different and unnameable and unrecognizable virus. So anyway, so apaha jyotimshi etani imani cha Shudra misrani va bijani tara bijani. Shudra misrani, that is, Shudra means not noble, and Misra means mixed. So it's a mixture of that. They are not pure by themselves. See, wherever you are there connected, the other ones are also connected with you. That is, whether you are on earth, or in wind, or in sky, or in water, or in Jyoti, all these factors, they are sometimes also get mixed. Without rain upon the earth, we can't exist. So rain means Akasha. And again, we must want light, sun, Surya, nakshatras. Without that, we can't go on. So apaha, the water, etc. Water is the source for any and everything. Idamba agrasalila asa. Upanishad begins, or Siddhava Brahmana begins saying that Idamba agra asa. What was there at first? Agre, at first there was only water, water, water. That's what even Aruna Prashna also tells us, that apa mapa mapasarvaha asmad asmad ito mutaha. So look at it, asmad asmad itaha amutaha apaha apam apaha. Well, that is that. Everywhere, water, water. That's why we have got more water places than the earth. And even in the water places, we have got islands. Singapore is an island, Hong Kong is an island, or even Manidvipa. If you talk about the Lalita Parameswari's residence, Manidvipa Nilayaya Namo Namaha. Even Manidvipa is floating, a small portion of land, beautiful, attractive, in the Sudha Sagara, in the Amrita, in the ocean of nectar. That Manipura Dvipa is there. Manidvipa, Manipura Dvipavasini. So that means to say that water is so good that it has the land. Even inside the Pacific Ocean, where there is a 14 miles water all over, deep and all that, deep 14 miles water, imagine. Underneath also there is earth. So the earth is the base, therefore Prithvi is the base, and upon that Vayu, Akasha, Apa, Jyoti, all these things are stationed. That's exactly why Narayana has to become Varaha Murti, when the Hiranyaksha stole the earth. And that Manu, who was creating beings, he went immediately found that there was no place to place the created beings. Immediately he rushed to Brahma. And Brahma said, I don't have solution. Let's go to Vishnu. And Vishnu said, okay, I do it, because he is the source for all solution. He said, yes, I do. So he became a Varaha Avatara and all that, you know. Therefore, we observe Jyotimshi also are the stars. See, starlight is there. Every star is a light. But their light reaches late compared to this light of the sun or the moon. So sun and moon, they reach light, they reach earth very quickly and other lokas, but the stars take more time. Only at the 12 o'clock in the midnight on Amavasya, another night you get first starlight coming, you can see road. So even what is that? That Shudra Misrani Vabijani. So there are all the sources like such seeds which are not noble, which are amidst of each of one. It's exactly the wonderful idea that you get, our Govindaraj is there, that you will get in Aruna Prashna also. No season is pure. Every season is an admixture of every other season. And every season pushes the other season forward and then retires. Something like in olden days, the railway engine driver used to give the T-square to the station master and pick up the new, you imagine, now, these days it's not that. So when we were all school boys and college boys, we used to see that driver of the engine was extending with his hand the T-square like circular one, and the master, everybody is clever enough to catch that, give this to him. Beautiful. So that's how the seasons also take their role. So here, Shudra Misrani Bijani. And how many he can enlist in the nature? The Prakriti is so vast, we can't exhaust the listing of the items in the Prakriti. For example, there are 86 lakhs, people say, of species in the world. How can you know the 86 lakhs? Here, sometimes the mariners, those who go for fishing in the stream, in the boats, steamboats, when they throw their nets, they find peculiar fish, which they never had. Sometimes they publish in newspaper. This is a news kind of fish. That's why. So like that, we have so many bijani, the sources. And itarani cha. See, how are these bijas or sources? And all people do not take womb of the mother. And there are so many yonis in the world. So yonija, ayonija is that. So yonijas are there, ayonijas are there. And they are given here. So that's called itarani, andajani, charujani, svedajani, udbhijani. These are all the sources through which a great number of beings are being born. Yes, Jyotim Shietani Manicha Shudra Misrani Vabijani Tarani Chaitarani Cha Andajani Cha Charujani Cha Svedajani Chodbhijani Cha Ashwagavaha Purushaha Hastino Yatkinchedam Prani Jangamam Cha Patatri Udapa Shivalingaya, continue. Jyotim Shi admele.
Tani mani chakshudramishani va bijani tarani chetarani chandajani cha charujani cha svedajani chodbijani cha swaghava purusha astina yatkinchedam prani Jangamam cha patatri cha yachastavaram.
Yes, we stop here. Let us understand. It's also the birth problem. That's why when once we leave our body, something like taking off from an airport, and where we land, we don't know. But in modern time, we have got landing places. But sometimes we don't know where to land. So people, even for people, some people are born in America, Switzerland, Australia, India, and all that. So landing is important. When you land when you are born, when you land in America, Americans are so good that they will give citizenship immediately for the baby. But in India, the same. And any country will give citizenship for those who are born in the country. Therefore, the question comes, where are you born? Birthplace, nationality. These are the two columns which we have got to fill up. But because we know that, we will be able to fill it up, because we're humans. But what about other species in the world, which have got different source to get out into the world? So the sources are just named. For example, he says, Bijani, Itarani cha, so on, so on. Many other things. Because Itarani means other things. So how many other things are there, which yonis are there, whose names you do not know at all? Some are born in the water, some are born in the mountains, terrestrial, and some are born in the air, some are born in the sweat, some are born in the blood, some are born. Oh, good God. That's why our Aitareya Maharshi just gives an idea. Yeah, it is very impossible to exactly number the number of yonis through which people are brought into the world. And so he says, Aitarani cha. But specifically to say Andajani, egg. So egg is that. Even man also is from egg. And he gets the Dvijatvam only when he gets samskara of Upanayanam. Upanayana samskara is one which makes the man to be Dvija. That's why Manu Sarma Shastra, Manu says that Janmana Jayate Sudraha Samskara Dvija Uchyate Adhyayanat Vipraha Acharanat Srotriyo Bhavati. Like that we can get the idea from Manu that these are all the ranks that people could get having been born. So the samskara makes people really noble and higher and rising up. So that's why samskara is important. What is samskara? Culture. Civilization is not, because thousands of civilizations have come and disappeared and devastated. But Hindu civilization, Vedic civilization, and Veda Dharma, Vedic heritage alone is standing green all time, though we have lost so much of that. Our Jayanti Sahu has opened a new website, rather WhatsApp, to talk about the philosophical systems, philosophical knowledge that has been handed down to us right from the times immemorial, really so, because we have to unearth a lot of secrets, know that we are very, very rich, and we are all indebted to various Muni and Rishis and scholars and Vidwams and Paramatma. Therefore, here we see Andajani. So Andaja, this is egg. From out of egg, things are all coming out. And then also we have got Andajani cha, Rujani, Svedajani, Udbhijani. So Udbhija is just they are born, there is no seed for them. So there are so many Udbhijas. One example is, I think, that's got Gukka Gudugulu, pills center, German law, mushrooms. So the mushrooms are interesting. There is no, so they all just come up. When once the earth becomes wet, when rain comes, earth is wet, and Prithvi Gandha. Owing to the Prithvi Gandha itself, so many new creatures are being given room to be born. That's why birth is accident. Birth is not planned at all. Even cesarean operation also they plan, but sometimes it will not work up. I know a case when the doctor, before going inside, she said to me, I'm going to take out the baby just at 9:15 in the morning about. And so you can ask your astrologer to compute horoscope, putting the date, the time of birth, 9:15 and all that. But somehow something happened. The baby came out only after half an hour. And they are drawn out. That's why I say nobody can certainly say exactly the time of birth. So birth is an accident. And because of the accident, we are always trying to repair the accident from. Adrinda, ili, and also Rujani and Cha Rujani, next Vedajani, even sweat also gives a lot of problems. The sweat, see, there are 5 malinas that a human body exudes. Sweat is the one, hair is another, and there is, the nails are another. So the excretions and urine, these 5 things are the malinas which are described in the Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam talks about the human body system inside, outside, and who is responsible for all that. So people must go to Ramayanam, Bhagavatam, Bharatam, so that you will be full-fledged in knowledge. Mahabharata is Panchama Veda. Ramayana is Adhikavya. Bhagavatam is all focused on Paramatma and the Prakriti, then Moksha, and meanwhile what is happening to us, when Paramatma, Bhagavan Uvacha, Krishna Uvacha, he is the main speaker in Bhagavatam, and so many rishis, and many rishis come forward with a large number of doubts, and so Krishna, Bhagavan is very patient. One grand example I'll tell you. Uddhava will ask Krishna in Gita, you see that entire Dwaraka is getting merged in the ocean and everybody is destroyed. But I'm also going to be victim for that, going to be victim. Then how do you manage me to give me moksha and all that? Then he was talking about moksha, and ultimately that Uddhava tells Krishna, hey, don't give me body back again. If you give me body, you are also creating work for you to take care of my body, direct it and all. So supposing I don't have body back, I'm just merged into you and I become one with you inside, then you have no work and I have no work. Birth is a work. So he asked like, but it's a beautiful idea that we don't want birth at all. We don't want, that's why we always make a prayer. Mama samasta pitrunam shaswata brahmaloka praptirastu. Whatever pitru puja we do it, pitru yajna, pitru karma we do, ultimately we say, may all my parents, their mains departed, be confirmed of their stay in the Brahmaloka, and so they need not come back and again ask for food and all that. For that, we have got also options given in Gaya Sraddham and also Brahmakapala Sraddham. In Badrinath, we have got Brahmakapalam. There, if you will be giving pindam or food for 21 generations before and future, and for you also. So all these alternatives have been thought over, provided by our rishis. So rishis have done so much inconveniences to people that we should know them and practice them. So here you see, Svedajani, out of our own sweat, so many creatures. For example, the lice is supposed to be Svedaja. I don't know, maybe the botanists and the zoologists will be telling. With my little knowledge, I say, the lice which will bother the head inside, if the hair is not well combed or well cleaned quite now and then, the lice will begin taking birth in the hair so much. You can see all sometimes the eggs are laid by the lice in the hair. So they're all called, I think so, Svedajani and Udbhijani, I told you Muslims. And apart from all that, we have also some animals born. Animaldom also is there. Ashvaha, horses, out of copulation, and Gavaha, cows, copulation, Purushaha, out of copulation, mating, and these are all the creation. These things are Hastinaha, elephants, and such a number of animals are there. And all these animals, female animals become mothers. And one grand example is all mothers cannot be kind to the baby immediately after the birth. Some mothers are really, we think they are cruel, but no, they are kind and affectionate. Mother has no replacement in the world. That's why Matu Devo Bhava. I know that giraffe, probably you know that giraffe bird. Mana Telugulo evantaru Telugu naku. Giraffe, the moment the mother giraffe gives birth for the baby falls on the ground. Then immediately the giraffe turns and gives a good kick for the baby. Far off it falls down the baby, just born baby. And again it goes up to the baby and gives another kick. And another third kick it gives, and then the baby is able to stand and make movement and become a little normal, come for food to its mother. That's what I was told, I don't know. So the giraffe is in creation, how the beings are coming, there are wonders and wonders and wonders. Therefore, we have got a beautiful scope to study so many branches of learning. Bhattabana just mentions around 76 branches of knowledge, and 76 departments were opened by Tarapida when he opened a new university in order to get his son Chandrapida educated, and also the other Rajakumaras who can take admission into that. And he appointed 76 professors, heads of the departments, to teach various arts and sciences to the students. So that's our ancient Indian education concerned. Anyway, Purushaha, Hastinaha, the horses. The people say Gajagarbham. Horse is the only one animal which holds the baby inside it 12 months. Otherwise, they almost 9 months or 8 months or 10 months and like that. That's the maximum that any being can stay in the mother's womb. Beyond that, no, you should get out. See, Kalaha Pachati Bhutani, Kaloyam Jagat Bhakshakaha, Kalai Tasmai Namaha. Atharveda, we have got a Kala Upanishad, where it is said Kalo Jagat Bhakshakaha is one, and Kalaha Pachati Bhutani. The time makes everybody cooked away or matured, and they have to get out. So the time and tide, the waves of the ocean, the flow of the rivers never remain the same. The water you picked up from a river flow, and you cannot pick up the same water from the river because the water kind you picked up gone off. That is the pravaha, that is the time. Therefore, here you see Hastinaha, the elephants have got 12 months. So sometimes if the pregnancy is delayed and going more, people will say in the Vedic families, what is this? It is time for the delivery. And then Gajagarbhana anta keltare. No, it is not like Gajagarbha. So in order to produce another huge Pachatram like elephant, the mother elephant has to bear the baby inside for 12 months, 1 year full. So, Namavasi Ajanayat Kausalya Ramam, that's what Valmiki says. And sometimes his other version is Dasamevasi. So, 9th and 10th month is the maximum time for normal delivery and full maturity. And supposing it is drawn out from the womb of the mother, so 1 day in mother's womb is equal to 1 week in the incubator. People say, I don't know. So like that, here Hastinaha, and moreover, Etkinchedam Prani, whatever kind of Prani it is, life it is. And even what is Prani? What is a living being? It is either of two kinds, Jangamam and Patatri, and Stavaram, Sarvam. So these are all the three modes that all beings that are born upon the earth take to. One is movement, one is flying, and another is stable. That's why, see that Uddayana to fly, and Gamana to walk, and jumping also there. Some animals jump, frog jumps. So there are so many modes through which the beings born upon the land are able to make their movements. So the movement is important, but swan is supposed to be a classical movement. So Hamsagati, Hamsagamana, like that they say. Anyway, so like that, you understand, if Aitareya Maharshi is telling us so many wonders are there. It is not easy that it comes to the world, and how it picks up the necessary things to get on to a long life to 100 years. So sucking is the first sense that one has to pick up. Suck, then munch, then eat, then bite, etc. So like that, how we keep on learning and learning and learning. So if we have got some more lines, I think we can complete it in next class and take to another Upanishad afterwards. So ultimately we understand how these Upanishads are trying to study the nature, or rishis are studying the nature, and they are not keeping their knowledge of the study, Adhyayana, that they made, they are making the Adhyapana also. So Adhyayana, Adhyapana is important. Yajana, Yajana. Yajana is the yajna performance. Yajana is to make others also to perform the actions. So they must do that. That's how we have got the word like Acharya. Who is Acharya? Not always giving platform lectures. Yaha acharam upadisati swayam acharitacha so saha acharya. So all our Upanishadkaras are great acharyas. They have experience, they have the knowledge, still they try to share the knowledge, and therefore we, being born in Bharat, are being introduced to this kind of Vedic culture, knowledge, study, very, very, very much lucky, and we should be making use of our lifetime remaining very much fruitful. Thank you very much. I stop here. Om Swasti.
Om Sahana Vavato Sahana Bhunakta Sahabhijyankaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastama Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha. Sarve Santu Niramaya. Sarve Bhadrani Pashyanta. Markaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Sarvam Shri Krishnarpanamasta. Shri Vasudevarpanamasta. Shri Veda Purusha Shirvadosto. Om Tat Sat. Hari Om Namaste.